Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Carlos Eduardo Velázquez. I'm co-founder of conTREEbute along with Luis Botero. I live in Medellin, Colombia, and I'm very excited for the opportunity to work together. By joining Anthesis, we become part of a community committed to excellence, growth, and sustainability. I look forward to meeting you all and count on us at conTREEbute as a group of people passionate about what we do and willing to collaborate and learn together.
Today, I want to introduce you to conTREEbute, and specifically, I want you to learn about MERO, our ESG information management system. First, conTREEbute is a professional service firm focused on sustainability. It was born 15 years ago, and to date, we have accompanied more than 300 companies in the definition and execution of their corporate sustainability strategies. We are based in Colombia, and our market is mainly medium and large companies from multiple sectors of the economy located in Latin America. Our support is based on a methodology that we call the sustainability management cycle. With the cycle, we ensure that our clients manage to incorporate sustainability into their business strategy. The first stage of the cycle consists of evaluate. Here, we diagnose to understand how the company is doing in terms of sustainability, integrating environmental, social, and corporate governance criteria. We aim to take a snapshot of how the company is doing in its sustainability practices, aligned with the topics that are relevant to its industry. Then we work on directing. We deliver sustainability attributes to the corporate strategy, identifying stakeholders, perform materiality analysis aligned with the strategy, and build narratives to give a unique meaning to the word sustainability. Once the company has a clear strategy, we move on to managing. We know that what is not measured is not managed. For this reason, we establish indicators and goals that allow tracking the most relevant issues. In this stage, MERO becomes very relevant, and this is where ESG information management is leveraged. After managing, we need to disclose. At this point, we support companies in their information disclosure process to different stakeholders through sustainability reports and dialogues with the stakeholders. In this stage, MERO also plays a leading role, as the system includes reporting and download tools that allows for the visualization of the information in an agile, simple, and real-time way. The cycle closes with the stage of valuation. This stage aims for companies to think in terms of impact, how the company's impacts are identified and managed. The cycle is of great help to companies because it provides them with a management roadmap that is not only easy to understand, but also provides tools for practical and strategic sustainability management. We are very excited to become part of the Anthesis group. We are sure that together we can take corporate sustainability to the next level. We will have the ability to expand operations in Latin America and bring MERO and other Anthesis digital products to be the most recognized and used ESG information management platform in the world. Now let's get into MERO in detail. The purpose of MERO is to reveal organizations' hidden information. Companies today already have well-systematized data available for decision-making. This is the case, for example, of financial information, which has lived in a stable system for a long time, and it is revealed on a recurrent basis to the different stakeholders. ESG information, on the other hand, lives across different corporate areas. It is normally not well systematized, and many manual processes are required for its management. With MERO, we seek to generate value for our customers in three ways. First, facilitate the process of collecting ESG data, financial and non-financial. Second, carry out an efficient process in the management of key indicators on different sustainability topics. And third, finally, have all the ESG information available to make more informed decisions and have much more constructive dialogues with the different stakeholders. Currently, the ESG information management process is inefficient. It is a highly manual process which is carried out mainly in Excel sheets and with a high probability of errors. The people involved in the process take a long time to obtain the requested information, and when they manage to have the information, it is actually already updated. And last but not least, companies are being inundated with ESG information requirements during the year of operation. They receive between 12 and 15 applications per year, and almost all of these applications are similar, but due to the lack of systematization, they are processes that have to be done again each time. With MERO, companies receive an intuitive information system with an information management model that allows them to configure all types of questionnaires, including descriptive, numerical, and multiple choice questions, to achieve an optimal way to collect all the necessary data and store it in one place. An analytical model also configurable that facilitates the consumption of information in a dynamic and intelligent way. And an action plan model which make it easier to monitor the fulfillment of a specific task that led to the closing of the identifying gaps. With MERO, in addition to the data that is asked to the different teams, calculated data can be created by performing arithmetic operation with other data collected in the system. This makes it possible to create composite indicators and all type of information resulting from mathematical operations. Let's go into a little detail in the following diagram to have a better understanding of how MERO works. First, we must understand that the data, as we said previously, is dispersed in the corporate areas of organizations. These can be found in different sources, some very analog and others more systematized. MERO has a solution for each of the following cases. When the information is found on the computers of those responsible in Excel, Word, and other files which are not stable, the best way is to assign the MERO forms directly to the responsible people so that they can complete the information directly into the system. This is the most manual way of all, but it is actually the most popular due to the lack of systematization. According to our previous experience with multiple companies from various sectors and sizes, approximately 70% of the data needs to be entered this way. The second alternative, which MERO offers to enter data into the system, is through an Excel template that is loaded directly into the MERO administrative model. This alternative is used when the client data is in stable files or in internal system that allows the download of reports in Excel, and its structure can be converted to the form of the MERO template. It is a process that we call massive data loading, and it is perfect for loading historical information or facilitating processes with areas of the company that have their own systems to manage their data, but that are not necessarily reports that are made with high frequency. When the source system is stable, has modern technologies that allow automated integration, and additionally, the volume of information is significant, MERO is enabled to integrate via API to these type of systems. MERO provides an API so that it can be consumed by the client and inject data automatically following a previously defined business rule. This is the desired path in the medium and long term, but we must understand that client processes are currently very manual, and it is complex to orchestrate all the actors necessary to achieve this type of automation. At MERO, we continue working to make this integration process easier. We even hope that in a few months, we will be able to directly offer the intermediate systems to make these automations a reality. Once the sources of the data and the processes required to bring this data to MERO are clear, the information management model allows you to control all the process simultaneously with the different teams in the organization. Thanks to the hierarchy of dimension, topic, subtopic, and form, the collection process can be distributed throughout all the areas in the organization, always taking into account good data governance. Thus, the people participating in a specific form will only see the information that corresponds to them and will not have access to others. Each form is assigned a three-role information flow. The first is the filler, who is responsible for entering the data into the form. The second is the reviewer, who has the task of validating that the data entered is indeed correct. They have permission in the system to change the data if they decide, or they can return it to the filler. Once they find all the answers right, they send the form to the next approval step. The approver has the same powers as the reviewer to change or return question to the predecessor. And once is satisfied with the answers, they end the flow by approving the form. With the information already stored in the database in an organized and well-classified way, an infinite number of possibilities opens up to generate value to its consumption. MERO has the possibility of creating personalized reports in Excel format. It has the possibility of exposing information in an API so that it can be consumed and taken to other client systems, such as databases, data lake, or business intelligence tools. Currently, included in the MERO subscription plans, the service of building analytic dashboards in Power BI is provided. These dashboards facilitate the understanding of the data. They are dynamic and fully customizable for the different uses required. We have had experience in building management dashboards for the presentation of key information to our clients' management teams, operational dashboard for the internal public with all the management details, and disclosure dashboard for the public in general that are even embedded in our clients' websites, taking their disclosure processes to the next level. MERO has different features. To centralize the data, we create questionnaires based on global standards and the different initiatives required by the clients. Information can be managed with different frequencies, monthly, quarterly, and annually. Historical information enriches the process in MERO, and each question has the possibility of providing support for its answer. These can be attached files or links, and for each question, you can configure whether the attachment is mandatory or voluntary. It is a secure web application available at all times and does not require any type of installation by the client. To manage the data, MERO is prepared to make integration via API to and from clients' databases. It also allows massive uploading of information through easy-to-use Excel templates. The information is all subject to approval flows in order to guarantee its reliability. For users management, MERO can integrate with Azure Active Directory. In this way, entry is easy and seamless for all users. MERO has a notification center to inform users about the progress of the process, and so that administrator can manage all the communication centrally in the system. Each form has a chat service so that the people involved in each one can maintain an active conversation about the information being managed. To share information and make better decisions, MERO has a download center that allows you to configure reports in Excel and Word formats. Dashboards are built with descriptive analytics in Power BI, and access permissions are managed at a user level. And to simplify the work, MERO has an administration model so that the people responsible for the entire process can control from the beginning to end everything that is happening throughout the organization. It also has a functionality to perform automatic translation between two defined languages, which thanks to the Amazon engine that uses artificial intelligence are increasingly more accurate translations. And later, with the translation role, the necessary correction can be made according to the language preferred by the company. Some of these processes require verification of information by third parties. MERO has the audit profile that facilitates these processes, allowing these users to enter directly to the system to carry out the verification process. And finally, for the gaps identified in each form, an action plan can be created with key tasks that can be monitored and guarantee evolution in each of the topics. All these features are distributed in the following system models. First, the setup model, where all the configurations of the questionnaires are carried out, the formulation of composite or calculated indicators, and the creation and assignment of users. Second, the administration model, which allows the management of notification, the modification of approval flows, the configuration of report to download information, and the management of mass upload processes, and configuration of APIs for data injection to MERO. Third, the information management model, which is where users carry out the process of entering, reviewing, and approving the data in each of the forms. Fourth, the action plans model, where the tasks associated with the identified gaps in the forms are configured and their compliance is monitored. And last, the analytics model, where the different built dashboards are published, and according to the permission of the users, they can access each of them. Now, let's see how all these features work in the real tool. For this demo, we set up a company that has operation in 3 countries. Germany, with 2 production plants, one in Berlin and the other in Nuremberg. England, with a production plant in London. And Spain, with a production plant in Madrid. The environmental dimension, with the topics of energy, water, biodiversity, waste and emissions. In all of these cases, it was built so that the data can be collected at the level of the production plants and on a monthly basis, with the exception of biodiversity, which is collected annually, and waste quarterly. The social dimension, with the topics labor practices and talent attraction and retention, are collected at a company level and quarterly. Human rights and corporate citizenship are collected at the organizational level, the first one quarterly and the second one annually. And the governance dimension, with the topics corporate governance, ethics and transparency, are collected at an organizational level yearly. The corporate finance and suppliers topics are collected at a company level quarterly. For this example, we bring in the Star Wars character to make it easy to understand the changes in profiles and roles during the explanation. Princess Leia will be the administrator of the process. She simulates the role that a sustainability manager has in an organization. Luke Skywalker is a user within an organizational area, possibly an analyst, and has been assigned the input data role. OP1 Kenobi is a manager of an organizational area and has been assigned the role of reviewing the data. And Yoda is the director of an organizational area and has been assigned to approve the data.
Welcome to the MERO demo. We hope it will be of great help in understanding how the system works. Each client receives an URL to access the system. Here is the home screen for accessing the system. Here we can see that in this demo, the image and colors are those of MERO, but this is customizable for each instance according to the client's brand and primary colors. If the client has the configuration to connect directly to the Azure Active Directory, you will find the login here to do so with your corporate account. In this case, we will enter using the username and password created directly in the MERO database. First, I'm going to log in as Luke Skywalker, who you may remember has the role to input data. Once we enter the system, we find this home page. MERO's interface is intuitive. In the top right corner, we have the user's information. Here, the user can see their assigned user type and can change their language preferences, update their profile picture, change their password, and log out. Next, we have the Help menu. The information displayed here is configurable. We can include direct contact for user assistance, and additionally, we can upload tutorial videos for users to consult whenever they want to learn how to perform tasks in MERO. We also have access to the Notifications menu, where all progress messages from assigned questionnaires, chats, and process administrator messages will appear. The white section of this screen is where all the system information will be displayed. It will change according to the selection made. Now, let's take a look at the navigation menu located on the left side of the screen. The logos on the black vertical bar represent the system modules. In the case of Luke Skywalker, only the Information Management module is enabled. However, when we look at other profiles, you will see how the other modules appear here. In this Information Management module, users first select the event in which they will enter information. Once the event is selected, a summary of the questionnaires assigned to the user and their progress in the process appears. Additionally, there is also a breakdown of notifications separated by buckets to facilitate understanding and ensure no messages are missed. Next, the user selects the role with which they will work on the assigned questionnaires. In some cases, the user may have more than one assigned role. In this case, Luke only has the role for entering data. With this, only the dimensions, topics, subtopics, and questionnaires assigned to Luke appear. Remember that the information always follows a hierarchy. In the environmental dimension, we can see that several subtopics already have a green circle on the left, indicating that all questionnaires within these subtopics have been approved, and thus, their process is complete. But we see that the fuel consumption subtopic has a gray circle. This means that the entire process for this subtopic is pending. Let's go in to see what it's about. Once we click, the first questionnaire of this subtopic opens for us. All questionnaires have the same structure. Let's go through it. At the top, we see this menu that provides general information about the questionnaire and also allows us to describe the process we followed to obtain this data, in case we want to transfer knowledge to future responsible parties for this information. We can observe the approval workflow assigned to this specific questionnaire. This way, we know who is responsible for each step. We have access to chat for ongoing communication about any doubts we may have while completing our process. We can send messages to all participants in the questionnaire or even search for a specific recipient. And we can download this questionnaire if desired. In the top right corner, we can see the Save button, which allows us to save information as we progress through the questionnaire. Since some questionnaires may require a lot of information, it's not necessary to fill everything out in one go. We can return to the questionnaire at any time and continue the process without losing previous progress. We also see the current status of the questionnaire. This status changes as the approval workflow progresses. It starts with input pending, then moves to input for the reviewer, then to reviewed for the approver, and once the process is complete, it's in the approved state. This menu we see here is for navigating among the different questionnaires within a subtopic. In this demo case, there is only one questionnaire, which is the fuel consumption questionnaire. Now, let's look at the questions configured for this questionnaire. Questions can be descriptive, like this first one, which defines a character limit for the response. Each question can be set to require support. In this case, it's mandatory. This support can be a link or a file. If we select a link, we first give it a name, then insert the URL. Provide an explanation of what information to review, and finally, we can leave some additional comments. If the attachment is a file, we give it a name, select the file we want to upload from our File Explorer, provide an explanation of the relevant pages, and lastly, we also have the option to add a comment. Now, the response to this question is ready. Questions can also be numeric and organized in tables. In the case of this second question, it's on a monthly basis. Information is entered for all months, and the first column shows the sum of all months. Question 6 is also numeric but of a historical annual type. The system asks for 4 years to accumulate responses from previous years. If there are previous events, the system will automatically bring in the responses entered in those events, and the user only needs to enter the response for the current event year. Another functionality of the questions in MERO is that they can be tagged with the codes of the standards to which this question provides an answer. In this case, this question is providing an answer to standard GRI code 302-1. If standards are correlated, it's possible for a question to respond to more than one standard. In that case, in this pop-up, you would see all the codes and standards to which it responds. Question 7 is a multiple-choice question. It also has a configurable feature that, based on the response I choose, can enable new questions in the questionnaire. If I choose that we use alternative fuels, question number 8 is enabled, asking which alternative fuels we use. Question 8 is a multiple-choice question. Here, we select the applicable ones. Finally, at the end of each questionnaire, there is a space to add comments if desired. This field is voluntary for users. Once all the information is ready, the questionnaire is submitted to the next step in the workflow by clicking the Submit button. Now, Luke completes the process with this questionnaire and awaits review by Obuin. Now it's OB1's turn to log in and perform the review process. The first thing we can see on OB1's home screen is that he has messages from the fuel consumption questionnaire chat, and additionally, there's a system message notifying him that the questionnaire is ready for review. From either of these messages, OB1 can go directly to the questionnaire or use the left menu navigation to reach the questionnaire. When entering the questionnaire, for each question, he has the following actions to perform. He can mark the question as reviewed if he is satisfied with the information entered by his predecessor. He can edit the entered data if he considers it a minor adjustment that he can make himself. Or he can return it for correction if he believes that the adjustment should be made by his predecessor, in this case, Luke Skywalker. For this example, we will return question number 8 for Luke to adjust based on the following comment. We should also review the final comments on the questionnaire and click the Submit button. Since we returned question 8 to Luke for correction, the questionnaire is not finished, and we must wait for Luke to correct this question. We log in again with Luke's profile, go to the questionnaire from the notification, make the correction, and click Submit again. Now we log in with OB1's profile to validate the new response. Mark it as reviewed, review the comments again in case there were any changes, and click Submit again to send the questionnaire to its final approval stage. Now we log into the system using Yoda's profile, who is responsible for approval. We go into the questionnaire from the notification link, and in this case, we will mark everything as approved, trusting that OB1 did a good job with the review. Also, please remember that the approver's profile has the same options for each question: approve, edit, or return for correction. This is the information management process in MERO. That's how all the collection of ESG information within a company is systematized, involving users from different organizational areas. Now, let's look at what global process management entails, with the role of Princess Leia. When we log in as Princess Leia, we can see that she has been assigned more modules in the system. She has access to the Administration module, the Information Management module, and the Analytics module. Let's explore the possibilities she has in each of them. First, let's look at the Information Management module. Here, the Process Administration profile can navigate and take action on the questionnaires with any desired role. This means they can have permission to enter data, review, and even approve the information. They can be a super user, assisting others in progressing through the process when they encounter difficulties. Additionally, this user has access to all questionnaires within the instance. If you recall, when we looked at the process with Luke Skywalker, he only had access to questionnaires in the environmental and business dimensions. But in this case, Princess Leia has access to all configured dimensions, including social and governance. In questionnaires that are already closed and in an approved state, she can enter and edit the stored information and can reopen the questionnaire at any stage of the process. In this option, she must select which stage she wishes to reopen the questionnaire to and select the questions she wants to reopen. She should always provide a comment to maintain traceability regarding why this questionnaire was reopened. Now let's look at the Administration module. First, we see the management of notifications. Here, the administrator can decide whom they want to address the message to, whether it's to everyone or to someone specific. Define a subject, write the message, and finally, you can select whether it's a dismissible message or if it's permanent until a specified date. Now let's look at editing approval workflows. You can perform a search to quickly find the questionnaire you want to edit the workflow for. And, in this table, you just need to select the role you want to change and search for the person you want to assign. This easily and quickly modifies the approval workflow. Let's now move on to the Download Center. In the Download Center, you can configure as many reports as you need. Let's add a new one to demonstrate how this process works. The first step is to give a title to the report I'm creating and select the event from which I want to download information. Clicking Save enables the report configuration screen where I can start adding different questions. To facilitate the search for questions, we have all these filters. You can apply a single filter or a combination of several to streamline the process. Once we apply the filters, all the questions that meet the search criteria appear at the bottom of this pop-up. And I can start selecting what I need. For each question, I can see its path in the system with its hierarchy of dimension, topic, subtopic, and questionnaire. I can also see the question's text, type, and its status. I can select the questions of interest and click on Save Selection. I can build the report with different queries, even adding responses from different dimensions and topics. I can always save my work and return to it at any time. Then, on this configuration screen, I can arrange the selected questions as I wish using the drag and drop functionality. I also mark the information I want to include for each question. Once I have configured the report the way I want, I can save my work and download the report. I select the format for download. I recommend working in Excel only so that numerical and descriptive information remains in a single file. Currently, we are working on the possibility of downloading with all the questions in Word, but this is not possible yet, so please stick with Excel for now. We select the language in which we want to download the information and click Download. Now let's look at the downloaded file. As you can see, the file's name is the title we gave to the report, along with the date and time of its download. In the file, we can see all the information that was configured for this report. It's worth clarifying something about this Download Center functionality. The files resulting from this process are extracted directly from the MERO database. They have a generic format for extracting information from the different types of questions that can be configured in the system. Therefore, these reports should not be considered as final reports since some content editing and design work may be required for presentation. They are a good approximation of what serves as input for the final editing and design process of a sustainability report, but not a final deliverable. Customizing these downloads in terms of format and design is a complex process that we are currently unable to undertake. We will continue working to make progress in this area. Now let's enter the Responses Upload menu. With the functionalities of this menu, we can perform the mass upload of responses to the system, and we can configure the APIs for automated processes. In both cases, the process begins by configuring the template with the questions we want to upload in a mass or automated manner via the API. Template configuration works very similarly to the process we saw earlier for report configuration. When you click on Add Template, you define a name for it and click Save. Then, we start searching for the questions just as we saw in the download configuration. Once we have all the questions we want in the template, we can click Download. The download file is an Excel format, and the name includes the title assigned to this template and the download date. In the template, you can see that the file format is in a table with columns and rows. Each row corresponds to the entry of a data point. The file has several columns that provide context to the data to be uploaded, and the columns highlighted in green are the fields where you can upload or modify existing information. When the template is partially or fully filled out, it can be uploaded to MERO in the next menu item, Upload Responses. Let's go through the process of uploading using this example. Select the Upload Responses button, and this will open a pop-up to browse for the file on your PC. Select the file and click Upload. Here, a summary of the action taken appears. If there were any errors during the upload, the type of error and explanation will be displayed here. In this general upload screen, there is a table with a log of all the upload processes that are being performed in the system using this method. To carry out the API configuration process and automate the data upload to MERO, the process begins with creating a template just like we saw in mass uploading. However, additionally, you need to access the user configuration menu for API consumption. Here, select Add User, enter the user's name and email address. By clicking the Create button, the system automatically sends an email to this user with a token for them to create their API consumption password. With the user created, they can go back to the Upload Responses menu and, under the API Configuration button, consult the manual for its configuration. Right there, they will find the URL provided for injecting the data. These are the various functionalities of the administration module. Now let's look at the functionalities of the Analytics module. In this module, all Power BI dashboards are published, and users can view those to which they have been granted permission. Navigation within the dashboards is done through the menu on the left side of the screen, which is also configurable. Up to 4 levels can be used to group different dashboards. In the case of this demo, the navigation levels are defined the same as the hierarchy defined in the dimension, theme, and subtheme of the Information Management module. For this case, we created an analytical dashboard with information for each subtheme. But before we dive into the descriptive dashboards of the collected information, let's look at the tracking dashboard. This allows the process administrator to track progress in each of the questionnaires, so you can see how easy it is to control the entire process simultaneously with MERO. In this dashboard, I can see the status of all the information. I can query for the specific event in 2022, which is prepared for this demo. In the first tab, I can monitor at the questionnaire level. Information can be filtered by dimension, theme, subtheme, or questionnaire. It can even be filtered by people in different roles in the approval workflow. In this dashboard, you can see different charts to analyze progress at any level of depth, and these are interconnected, allowing you to highlight the corresponding information by clicking on the values in each chart. The second tab of this dashboard works the same way, but in this case, the data count is done at the question level. In the third and fourth tabs, we can do a detailed tracking at the user level. This is a very useful process for identifying individuals responsible for topics that, for some reason, are not meeting the established process deadlines. Now, let's look at what can be done with the descriptive dashboards of the collected information. Let's enter, for example, the fuel consumption dashboard. In this case, since the information is collected at the production plant level and monthly, in Analytics, we can present the aggregated information in different ways. We can see the total consumption of a particular fuel, such as coal, for a specific year. We can also view this information on a monthly or quarterly basis. We can see how consumption is broken down by companies and production plants within this organization. And since we have information on the locations of the production plants in this case, we can also view the aggregated data by countries. All these charts are interconnected, allowing us to highlight the information by clicking on any of the data points. Once again, with well-organized and categorized information in the database, the possibilities for creating analytical dashboards are endless. It depends on the creativity we must deliver value to our clients. Just to show other options, let's look at, for example, the talent development dashboard in the social dimension. Or, for example, the supplier's dashboard in the governance dimension. And so on, we can have all the ESG information of a company organized, categorized, and well presented to make better informed decisions. All these analytical dashboards can be published on our clients' websites, maintaining a direct connection with MERO. This means that every time MERO updates the information, this update will be automatically reflected on our clients' websites. This is what we mean by the next level of ESG disclosure. Having explored the main functionalities of MERO, and having seen the different modules and options that the system offers, let's return to the presentation to conclude with a few final topics.
Now that we have seen how MERO works, let's move on to some more technical topics. MERO is a technological product marketed under the software as a service modality, which means that the client doesn't have to worry about anything in terms of development, infrastructure, or information security. By purchasing our service, we guarantee the proper functioning of the system. It is a system built with multi-instance architecture, or single tenant, which means that we carry out an exclusive deployment for each client. The configuration of the application and its database is not shared with other clients. MERO is a system ready to manage information with confidential classification. It is secure for our clients and has robust information security protocols. The information managed in MERO is non-transactional, since all the data requested is from expired periods. It is not currently designed to handle real-time data considered transactional. The technologies we used for the development of MERO were Microsoft.NET for the backend, Angular for the front end, SQL Server as the database engine, and everything is deployed on AWS infrastructure. As we mentioned previously, MERO is a web application. Therefore, it requires users to have access to an internet connection and enter the provider URL through a web browser. We recommend using Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge in their latest versions. The deployment of each instance is carried out on two servers, one for the application and the other for the database. Neither is exposed to the internet, since they are located behind the web application firewall. For users' access management, there is the possibility of integrating with Azure Active Directory managed by companies, and we use different Windows services to execute scheduled tasks and send notifications. Finally, MERO has an API to expose data to external systems for secure consumption of the information stored in MERO. This is the MERO infrastructure diagram. The important thing to understand here is that we follow the best practices proposed by AWS in its well-architected framework, and that MERO is deployed in the Ohio region of AWS, and that we have a second region of Virginia to carry out the information backup processes. At MERO, we perform automatic backups twice a day, and they are stored for 2 months. And we also perform an additional weekly backup, which is stored for 6 months. We take information security very seriously. For this reason, we have a permanent infrastructure monitoring service with our ally Cluster, and we follow the best AWS practices proposed by its well-architected framework. We manage vulnerabilities subject in MERO to continuous ethical hacking with our partner Fluid Attacks. As a policy, we have that vulnerabilities found with critical or high classification are addressed immediately, and medium or low vulnerabilities enter the backlog to be addressed as it evolves. We manage possible incidents through a Security Information Center service that monitors 24/7 that we are not being attacked. This service is provided to us by our partner Sophistic Cybersecurity, and we use the Azure Sentinel CM system. And finally, we have an information security management system certified by ISO 27001. And we are currently beginning the preparation process to launch the SOC 2 report, which we hope to have audited by the first quarter of 2024. This is how an implementation process looks like. The first thing we do is to understand very well what are the standards, initiatives, and indicators that the client wants to manage. With this defined, we proceed to correlate all this information and create a single questionnaire, which is the one that is configured into the system. This is the first phase, which is called the setup. Then we define the frequency of the information, whether it will be annual, quarterly, or monthly. And we distribute the different forms to the teams, defining those in charge of completing, reviewing, and approving the information. After starting the information collection process, we define how we are going to analyze and consume that information, creating dynamic reports in Power BI, configuring the templates for downloading the data, and carrying out the integration with external systems. During this implementation, we carry out a change management process and also the necessary training for the client's team. Well, I hope all this information has been of great help. Likewise, the doors will always be open to go deeper and address the doubts and questions that may arise. Thank you very much for the attention. And in this slide, I leave our contacts in case you want to contact us. Cheers!